the end points, well, it should be the end points of the line AB are A, 7, 3, and B, negative 4, 6. Okay. What does it say? Determine the equation of the line AB. Alright, so let's imagine you have an x-axis and a y-axis. Now, the line AB, 7, 3, 7, 3, let's say that's about here. So that would be above 7 and beside 3, and then negative 4, 6. Negative 4, let's say negative 4 is here, and 6 is up here. So the next point would be here. So A is at 7, 3, this is A, and B is at negative 4, 6. Alright? So we do a little sketch so we see what the line looks like. We must determine the equation of the line AB. Now, this line has a certain slope. You can see that it's going to be a negative, the gradient will be negative, because as you move to the right, you're going downhill. If you were moving uphill from left to right, it would be a positive, but this would be a negative gradient. But what is it? Well, you know that generally how we see the gradient is rise over run. The rise is the difference between the y. Now, the run is the difference between the x. Alright? Now, if you have 2 points and you want the gradient, let's call that g. Y, if you have point 1 and point 2, y for point 2 minus y for point 1, that's y2 minus y1. That would be the rise, the difference between the rise over x at point 2 minus x at point 1. Alright? You could also use y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2, right? But don't switch them around. Don't start the y with 2 and then the x with 1. The sign will change. And don't start the y with 1 and then start the x with 2. So let's use this. So let us say that B is 0.2. So in this case, B is at negative 4, 6. So this is x2 and y2. And A, let's call it 0.1 at 7, 3. This is x1 and this is y1. So y2 minus y1 would be 6 minus 3. So, and you can see it here. Right? 6 is up here, minus 3 down here. So that would be 6 minus 3 over x2 minus x1 now is going to be negative 4 minus 7. So you can see it here, negative 4 minus 7. So that's negative 4 minus 7 equal 6 minus 3 is 3 over negative 4 minus 7 is negative 11. Okay, so that's the gradient of the line. After that, they say the equation of the perpendicular line CD, if CD passes through the midpoint of AB. 3 marks, I think they should give more than 3 marks, you know, because of the amount of work that you'll have to do. But anyway, you have the perpendicular to CD. Now that perpendicular, what will be the gradient? Gradient of perpendicular. Now you remember what happens with the relationship between the gradients of two lines when they are perpendicular. Well, the gradient of one times the gradient of the other, call it line 1, is equal to -1. The product of the gradient is -1. If you multiply the two gradients, you get -1, right? You have to remember that. So gradient of perpendicular, call it GPER, multiplied by the gradient of line 1, 3 over -1, -11. Multiply by 3 over -11 is equal to -1, right? Now, if you transpose and so you divide by 3 over -11, you have the gradient of the perpendicular is going to be -1 divided by 3 over -11. You divide by this, right? And you put it under the 1. This is the same as -1 multiplied by the reciprocal now, -11 over 3. So here now, it's going to be a positive 11 over 3. So this is the gradient of the perpendicular, right? So the perpendicular it has the equation y is equal to 11 over 3x plus c. But now, it's a matter of finding out what c is. Now remember, what they say here is that CD passes through the midpoint of AB. If you consider this as the line CD, so you have C, D, Y. It passes through this, the midpoint. Now, if you should find out what the coordinates of the midpoint is, you would substitute the x and y here and calculate C. So we need to find out what are the coordinates of the midpoint. Now remember, we'll calculate the midpoint of a line. The thing is, you have two x's, one at each end. You're going to find the average of the x's. And then you have two y's, one at each end. You find the average of the y's. So, the coordinate of the midpoint is going to be the average x comma the average y. So in this case, the two x's are -4 and 7. Alright? So you add them and divide by 2. So 7 plus -4 over 2 is 7 plus -4 over 2 for the x, and then for the y, the two y's you have are 6 and 3. So you have 6 plus 3 over 2. And the idea is that when you average, you're going to get the midpoint here. The average of this and this is going to be what? Is that in the middle, alright? So this is 7 minus 4 is 3. 3 over 2. 3 over 2 is what? 1.5. So you have 1.5, comma, and then let's keep it as a fraction now. 3 over 2, comma, 6 and 3, 9. 9 over 2. So in this case, x is 3 halves, y is 9 halves. Right? And remember, I said 3 halves because it's the same as 3 multiplied by half. Right, so you have 3 halves, 9 halves. But anyway, we have our x and y. So let's substitute them here. Y is 9 over 2. This y is equal to 11 over 3 times x. X here is 3 over 2 plus c. Now, hold on. 11 over 3 times 3 over 2 plus c. Okay. So 9 over 2 equals 3 cancels. 3 into 3, 1, 3 into 3, 1. 11 over 2 plus c. Now, c would be 9 over 2 minus 11 over 2. 9 minus 11 is what? Negative 2. So c is negative 2 over 2. You can see that c is 1 then. Negative 1. Negative 2 over positive 2, that's negative 1. So, you can see the equation of the perpendicular is y equals 11 over 3x plus c plus negative 1. We can just write minus 1. Alright, so there you have the equation of the perpendicular. So here, the equation of the line. Oh, up here it said the equation of the line, not just the gradient of the line. My. I was thinking of the gradient of the line. Alright, we really did not find the equation of line 1 yet. That's my mistake. So let's call the first line, line 1. So we have y is equal to 11 over 3x plus c. I will substitute one of the x and the y. So if we put 7 and 3 in it, 7, 3. So 3 for y is equal to 11 over 3 times 7 for x plus c, in order to find out what c is, right? X is 3. No. X is 7, y is 3. X is 7, y is 3. So this would say c equals 3 minus 11, 77 over 3. This is 3 over 1. If you multiply both top and bottom by 3, you get 3 3s 9 up top over 3 1s 3 down the bottom minus 77 over 3 equals c. And then 9 minus 77 going to be negative something over 3. Negative what over 3 now? 9 minus 77. You drop 77 off and you get 70 and go down 8, 9, that's 68. So 68 over 3 equals c. So the equation of the line would be y is equal to 11 over 3x minus 68 over 3. Right. Lucky thing I look back up and say let us review what we did earlier. That was an oversight from what we did earlier. Alright, so that's it for now.